This morning, you looked in a mirror, fixed your hair, maybe pulled a face. You didn't think twice about it, but if you'd done the same thing 400 years ago, your neighbors might have reported you. In some European villages, staring into a mirror too long could ruin your reputation. In others, it could land you in front of a church inquisitor. In others, you could simply disappear. People were afraid of mirrors, really afraid. And the strangest part is, modern science is starting to realize they weren't entirely wrong. To understand why, we need to go back to a time when mirrors didn't exist. The first mirror in human history was a puddle, dark, still water. Our ancestors saw their own faces, and it may be a couple of times in a whole lifetime. By a riverbank, after a hunt, by accident. That was it. Most people lived their entire lives without ever seeing themselves. Think about that. Whole generations, thousands of years, people living, loving, dying, and never once knowing what they looked like. They knew the faces of their children, they knew their mother's face. They knew every wrinkle on the neighbor down the road, but not their own. The first man-made mirrors appeared in Anatolia around 6000 BC. They were polished slabs of obsidian, black volcanic glass. They cost the price of a small herd of cattle. They were buried in the tombs of kings, not used, buried. Because from the very beginning, a mirror was not an object. It was a portal. In ancient Egypt, bronze mirrors were held by priestesses. In China, mirrors were placed in tombs facing upward so the dead could see themselves and not lose their way. In Japan, the mirror became one of the 3 sacred imperial regalia. It could not be shown to anyone. It still lies in the Easy Shrine today. No one alive knows what it looks like. A mirror was too powerful to be just glass. Then something happened that changed everything. In 1507, in Venice, on a small island called Murano, glassblowers invented a way to coat glass with an amalgam of mercury and tin. This was the first true mirror in the modern sense. Clear, flat, accurate. Venice guarded the secret violently. The glassmakers were forbidden from leaving the island. Those who tried to escape were hunted down and killed. A mirror was more valuable than gold. And when the first Venetian mirrors spread across Europe, something happened that historian Sabine Melchior Bonnet called the Revolution of the Face. For the first time in history, an ordinary person could see themselves. Every day, whenever they wanted. And people started losing their minds. Church court records from the 16th and 17th centuries are full of strange cases. A woman accused of speaking with her own reflection too often. A man tried for losing his soul in the glass. Mirrors smashed, mirrors covered with cloth at funerals, a tradition that survived into the 20th century. Mirrors hidden when a child was born in the house. Why? Because the mirror did something no one had ever done before. It showed a person to themselves from the outside, and that broke something. This is where modern science enters. In 1976, psychologist Arthur Beeman ran an experiment on Halloween. He asked children to enter a house and take one candy from a bowl. With no mirror, 34% of the children took more than one, simply because no adult was watching. Then he placed a mirror next to the bowl, just a mirror. The cheating rate dropped to 12%. The mirror did not punish. It did not speak. It did not threaten. It just reflected. And that was enough to change human behavior. Psychologists called it the effect of objective self-awareness. When you see yourself, you start judging yourself as if you were someone else, an outside observer, a stranger. And here's what later studies showed. In people who frequently look at themselves in mirrors, measurable levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, go up. They are more often diagnosed with dysmorphia, a disorder where your own face starts to feel foreign or ugly. They have more anxiety, more self-criticism, more depression. In 2014, Italian psychiatrists described a phenomenon they named mirror-gazing dissociation. If you sit a person in front of a mirror in a dimly lit room for 10 minutes, nearly 1 in 2 will start to see their own face distorted. Foreign, not theirs. The face in the mirror begins to live. It shifts. It morphs into something else. This is not mysticism. This is neurophysiology. Our brains were not built to stare at themselves for long. They start to break. Now think about those medieval people. They said a double lived inside the mirror, that the mirror stole the soul, that looking too long could pull you out of yourself. They were superstitious, but they were describing exactly what modern science is only now beginning to measure. And now the strangest part, the average person in the 21st century looks at their own face about 70 times a day. That's not counting bathroom mirrors, elevator mirrors, shop windows, just the deliberate look into the phone, into selfies, into video calls, into the camera, 70 times every day for a lifetime. Your great-great-grandfather probably saw himself 3 times a week. You see yourself more often than you eat. No generation of humans in history has ever looked at itself this much. And here are the numbers that match. Since 2010, in the exact year front-facing cameras went mainstream on smartphones, diagnoses of dysmorphia in teenagers have tripled. Facial cosmetic procedures have gone up 7-fold. The average age of a first Botox injection dropped from 50 years old to 28. We didn't just start looking in mirrors more. We carry a mirror in our pocket. It glows in our hands. It shows us to ourselves. Every free second of the day, and the brain, which lived for thousands of years without this, is starting to break the same way peasants broke in the 16th century, just slower and quieter. Those village grandmothers who covered the mirrors with cloth when someone died in the house didn't know the word neurophysiology. They didn't know about cortisol. They didn't know about objective self-awareness. But they felt something we have stopped feeling, that a mirror is not a neutral object, that it does something to you, and that the dose should be limited. In recent years, Western therapists have been quietly recommending mirror diets to patients: a day without mirrors, a week without selfies, a month without video calls where you can see your own face. And people describe the same thing, a silence in the head they hadn't felt in years, as if someone had finally stopped watching them, and that someone was them. Our ancestors were afraid of mirrors because they believed a double lived inside the glass who stole the soul. We stopped being afraid, and the double came for us.